one that I saw the first time with that Crow Indian.
Yep.
It's very clear, considering. But you say it looks like an alien. Now, this is a classic example of what's happening through corruption. There's the original photo, and then I have to take that photo. I have to take the snipping tool, so then that's going to lose clarity in the snipping tool. And then I send it to Messenger, and then you look at it in your phone or your computer, depending on which one you actually looked at. But in your phone, you're going to have a hell of a time seeing, especially when you magnify it or anything. It's going to get pixelated, and you're going to see all sorts of anomalies. And so
let me ask you this. You're saying you got a Bigfoot, but someone said it's extraterrestrial, or I think it's an extraterrestrial?
Well, you said that on Messenger. I don't know if that was you referring to the same thing, but when
I was talking about that video, the picture that I was talking about was in your video that you were watching the other day, or that you were making with those dudes, MT and cameraman.
Oh, okay.
That one where it looked like he was an interdimensional alien with the arm and he was standing in front of the tree.
Yeah, to me, when I look at it, it doesn't look like an alien at all, but I can see where you come from. And other people, the person that actually found it, he thinks it looks like an alien as well. But it's okay. So I give it. So what did you think about the image that I sent you of the Sasquatch that I filmed?
That's legit, bro. That's legit. The big one.
You see the biceps on it and the arms. And
I'm going to show people right now, like.
If
you don't mind.
It's going to lose integrity because of. But yeah, show it anyways. But it would be a good example of how it loses integrity from you showing it on your. You know what I mean? There's like I shared it to you, so the original photo was very clear.
It happened. This is literally his shoulder, his bicep, his arm. He's right in here, his face. He's all up in here. You know, I see exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so
and you can see it. Oh, hell yeah, dude.
But also, you get a perfect example how a corruption of the image, because although you can see it, it's not as clear as it would be if you saw the original photo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is making me now think that maybe next winter I never said I was going to do a book, but I'm thinking about doing a book, but the book's going to be more like a picture book. I'm not going to be like telling all sorts of stories. You know what I mean?
I think that's a great idea, man. I think that's a great idea.
I'm going to get maybe the top 50 to 100 images and make glossy pictures of it on a page, and if for nobody else, for myself, but if somebody else is interested, then it's not about making any money. It's just simply I know that I'm filming things, and I know that if people had a glossy or a clear image of it at hand, they would see it clear as day. You know what I mean? Whereas here's another thing about YouTube. If you don't have you go to settings and then quality, if you don't have the highest quality imagery, if you have low or the standard setting, it's going to be blurry. So now you have to go to 760 or 1080 and at that setting if you want to see it even better. And I discovered too on live huge corruption of the images. When I watch the live shows after I do it, I'm like, I can see how people could not see what I'm seeing clearly because there's corruption being done. So I'm posting it on Yardstream, which then has been now being posted on or being posted simultaneously on YouTube or Facebook, and the imageries on Facebook and YouTube via live are not as good as if I do a video and I put it through a software with the highest bit rate, highest I can't think of the other one is. But anyways, there's a couple other settings that if you put them up to like 8,000 or whatever it is 8,000 and something like 40,000.
I had no idea you could change that on the YouTube settings.
Can I jump in real quick?
What's
Yeah,
up?
man, jump on in, Mike.
Hey, all right. So I just want to be clear with you guys. Um, let me turn my TV off. There's a guy, right? There's a guy I know who tampers with photos, and he well, there's two guys I know that tamper with photos, and they
Mhm.
make them what they weren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, and then there's people like you and I who will just simply put a filter on it. And if there's people who backtrack, like they like reverse search in certain ways, like the image, right, to see if it's legitimate. So even if you doctor it to like a Photoshop point, or you just filter it once, it comes back like in a similar fashion with the way it's stated, like that it's been altered,
Hey,
right? So like,
for fucking yeah.
so always, like, my suggestion is always like keep the original, always like show the original, or keep it at least. You know what I mean?
That's what I
Oh
do.
yeah.
That's what I do on my videos. I show the
Yeah,
original, and then if I
yeah.
have to like adjust the contrast and lighting, all that, I'll show the one and say that that's the one that I've adjusted. This is the original one,
Yeah.
and I try to, as well as I try like the original photo with everything in it, and then show it
Mhm.
magnified into that image, and then go from
I
there.
always
Look at that.
say that too. Show the big picture too, because when somebody just shows a
Yep.
zoomed spot, people, first of all, some people have trouble seeing that, but also I know damn well that there's people who just show the zoomed in because they took that shit from X, Y, and Z's video and not their own. You know what I mean? And like
For
they're showing
sure.
it off as their own shit. So that's why I'm always like, where's the big picture? Where'd you get it from? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I do,
You know,
and
I'm
that's
not.
Yeah,
one thing.
no, I
One thing I
I'm not
do
trying
too
to.
is
pretty
I was
I'm
going to
not
say,
trying to
Gary,
insult.
well, get something
Go
with
ahead.
this, and then I'll finish it real fast. So when I first started doing this 6 years ago, I used mine and other people's images, right? But like this past year, for sure, I don't use, even when I interview, like I interviewed both of you guys, right? I
yeah.
didn't, and if any images were shared, it was in that video when we're doing the interview. Never claimed any responsibility for it, and I don't go and use it in other videos. You know what I mean? So like for the most part, although I have one other video because of yours, LIB, of
Yeah.
the massive tree structures. I had to share that in a
Oh, it's
video in
like
which I
with
was
me.
demonstrating. But
Yeah,
outside
with
of that,
me,
I gave credit to LIB that it was his image, it wasn't mine. And so
yeah.
that's
I'm not saying I care. I'm just saying there's
I'll
these
let him
Cape
know, member, if he
Crusaders
doesn't
out
see it.
there. There's just some. I'm just trying to let you know. There's Cape Crusaders out there that like run around and try to bash every fucking picture that comes through, the internet and shit. So like
Oh,
that's
fucking
like
right there.
I think once you have it, you start having your own collection of images and you start having your own encounters, experiences, you start to realize, at least for me, that there's no need to really plagiarize other people's stuff or even really comment much on it because you're having your own you're
yeah,
gathering your own data and you become your own researcher. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I put my video on, so I'm trying here.
Well, the damnedest thing is what
So
happened to me last night. Me and my son, we just went to the park down the road, no more than a quarter of a mile. It's about maybe 60 yards from a new apartment complex, but it's right next to the creek that runs through the town. Tree twist right next to the gazebo that's next to the creek that's right on it. And on the other side, big old footprint. But the footprint was interesting is that it was under the bridge. And the bridge was as such that it was no more than 3 feet. the big footprint, and it couldn't have been if it was anybody, even a kid that
That's
was walking
correct.
under there, they would have been dragging their feet and making all sorts of mess because of how mucky it was. One big footprint. How did that happen? Right, 3 feet. I mean, we're talking 3 feet space between the bottom of the bridge and where the mug was and where that footprint.
Synchronicities, man. When I was at a place yesterday and the bridge was just like that.
But
I
how
should
did
have freaking checked that out. I should have looked at because I was thinking like nobody could walk under that thing. Maybe I need to
doesn't
go
that
back
big?
and look
It's
at that
almost like
bridge.
they walked through the bridge, but made a footprint. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
It's to
Interesting.
me, there's just no way. To me, my personal experience, I can't say definitively what's going on everywhere,
Hey,
but from my
I
personal
have to say
experience,
something right now. I want to say
they're
something real
interdimensional.
quickly. Ember here in the comments has a video that she wants to send to ORD. And she's told me that yesterday, so I wanted to say that to you. She actually said it a couple minutes ago in the comments. Is it okay if she adds you on Facebook?
Of course, anybody can. I have no problem with that. You know, unless
Okay.
you're a really terrible human being. Yeah, sure.
Ember, you're on my friends list. If you can, go look at my friends list and type in Michael Adams and add Michael Adams as a friend, and you can contact him on Messenger or wherever, Facebook. Send him a message through there. Unless you already have it sent here on TikTok, and you can send it to him here. But feel free to add him. He's an open book here, man.
Yeah. Well, the
Nice.
only people I really banned are not banned, but reject or whatever. Are usually people who are trying to show me their boobies and butts, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean, that kind of thing. Or they're like
Yeah.
really just a flat out jerk. If you have nothing on your nothing at all on your Facebook page, nothing. I mean nothing. I'm not gonna respond to that. I just you know what I
I'm
mean. It's
I'm
probably
pretty sure those are like hackers or some kind of weird fucking thing, you know?
or
I
trolls
don't
or
know,
a million other things. So you know,
something for sure.
but
Look
I'm
at this
pretty much.
guy.
He's ready for war, brother. He's ready to. No, I'm just kidding. He looks like he's like, those big
He is,
biceps.
though, man.
He's ready for war,
Hey,
man.
show us.
Who,
Show
me?
us. Yeah, you.
Yeah, you
Show
man.
us.
Those big arms, man.
Show
I'm
us,
not ready
man.
for
So
I'm ready.
anyway, what was it like last night, man? What experiences did you have in the fog and in the night? What did you see?
All right, I'll show it. I'll show
It's
it.
a dope. I love it, man. I love it.
So Mike, what were the experiences last night in the fog? What did you see? I didn't have a chance to watch the thing.
I didn't really see much of anything.
Did you sense anything? Feel anything?
Different side move.
But the
I'll give you a
rain,
side
the
move.
rain, the rain makes it difficult to, kind of. It's distracting. Let's put it that way. So, like,
You know, I was
it,
wondering.
Cool, man.
You know, when they make these tree structures, I wonder if they do it during when it's raining hard or when it's raining, because no one ever sees them build them. So I wonder if maybe like the climate. Oh, you have gone out, Mike, into and both of you guys know, but Mike, I know you have for sure. You know, when it's snowing and stuff like that. But I wonder if, like at night, if say it's raining real hard, that's when it happens, or something like that, or it's really
I
foggy.
don't know. I mean,
I
I've never seen a bear taking a shit or a bear having sex. I mean, like, there's a lot of shit I haven't seen. So, like, I kind of, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that, like, so for me, it's easy for me. Because my buddy Gary would, like, always, like, bitch and moan and yell at me and be like, you're like everyone, like, you go off what you see on TV. We don't know they make structures. You just saw it on TV, so that's what you think. Fucking wrong. If you know me, you know that only time I stomp around and beat my chest about facts is if it came from the My Sasquatch, from him. That's it. Otherwise, I'm the guy who says, I don't fucking know. Maybe. Not really sure.
So
Here's a guesstimate. Here's my opinion.
But when he comes to me and says, "Yeah, we do that because we connect everything in the woods, and then we use it to connect energy, like wiring in your house, and the structures we build to sit there and make like create an energy veil, and then we soak up the energy all day because they don't consume food like we do. They take in energy other ways. So that's what the structures are. Is there like an outlet where you plug something in.
Sure,
That's
sure.
where they charge.
It makes
So
sense. But
if you go to the proper, yeah, if you go to the proper spot, the proper structure during the day, they could very well be there. You might not see them, but you'll feel them real strong. Or you
oh
could
yeah,
go there and you can go there and you could like call on them, and then they'll come through the fucking energy system and come to
I
you.
received it, man. That energy
I
feeling,
filmed
you know,
one.
when you ask for it, it's amazing.
I filmed quite a good one next to a tree structure, just 350 yards to the east of me. But no, what I'm asking is, maybe they said this as well. Do they build these things like in a climate like when it's really foggy at night, or if it's a lot of rain?
I don't think so.
Because
I think they built.
my point is valid. We are not personally seeing them build it. So
So like
I'm just
I
trying
see
to.
them right by people's houses, bro. I mean, like right next to houses, right in people's backyards. Like I do believe they do something similar to um like
Well, I see.
how when aliens abduct you, you have no idea. Like I think they just do shit and they have a way of just fucking like making us just not know what the hell is that. And
Like for me, my second encounter was major. My second major encounter. My second major encounter was in my backyard.
Mhm.
Literally, I mean, it was literally probably no more than 10 yards from my car and the driveway and my backyard and my so I know what you're saying. In fact, most of my stuff, that's what my research is demonstrating that it's stuff's going on. You don't have to go way out in the woods to find this stuff. You can find this stuff in your own town, because that's what I'm doing. I'm
I get what you're
demonstrating. That's
saying.
what they're doing. So it's your,
To wonder how. So if a giant tree broke in a storm, it would make a loud cracking sound like thunder, right? So your
correct.
question is, how are they doing that shit without nobody noticing or nobody hearing, right? Or when are they doing it? Are they doing it under
Yeah,
darkness or
it's a big,
fog or
it's an
whatever,
honestly big question, right?
so we don't notice it? But I think they're able to create an ambient space because I've seen them do it, like where noise doesn't really exist outside of that zone. You know what I mean? So they do their thing, and it's almost like a force field. They're just doing their thing in there, and nobody's the fucking wiser.
They're behind
Well,
the
I wonder
veil,
too
man,
when we
you
call it
know.
what is a portal opens up. I wonder at times because like I filmed this last week when I filmed that Bigfoot in the tree. There was a portal above it, and you could see it clearly opening up. And you can see how the imagery, the tree and the branches are being distorted. There's like a vortex being happening, and things are being torn. I wonder if they do it during the day, are they doing it in a way where there's a giant vortex that's created in which we couldn't see it if we wanted to. I mean, it's happening, but they block our spectrum of visual spectrum, right?
For
There's no
sure,
way you
man.
could see it if you want to. So there's like a giant bubble. Saying a giant bubble that's 100 yards by 100 yards, whatever. Who knows how big it is? But just for visualization, the size of a
They
football field.
create it.
And they create this giant vortex that makes it so you cannot even see what's going on inside it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's what Mike's is talking about here, right? Basically,
Yeah.
what he's saying, right? Same idea for sure.
Yeah. No,
Same
hell
thing.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
on the same page. Me and Mike, a lot more than
For sure.
I think
We
Mike,
all are.
because Mike
We
doesn't
all are.
follow me much, but we're on the same page on a lot of things. It's just asking the questions is very important in our process, right? You got to ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask the questions, and also, it's not a personal attack on anybody else. You know, we're just asking the questions. If we work together and figure this out, you know what I mean? Because we're all having similar experiences in different parts of the country or the world. Jared's in BC. Mike's in Long Island. I'm in freaking Ohio on the border of Michigan. I mean, we're so far from each other. I mean, his day drive to get to Mike's is a 3 day or 2 day drive probably to get to Jared's. I mean,
There's
and
there
things are
are people
happening the
doing
same everywhere.
there are a lot of people like looking at the big questions, big picture questions, asking the
You too,
questions,
brother.
trying to
You too.
figure
Don't
that
worry about
stuff out. And I'm kind of past, like, I'm not saying I'm past it. If I get it, I get it. But like I'm like, the mission they have me on is connecting the people, right? So like
it. Yeah.
I'm always like, that's what I'm doing on a regular basis, is working with other people and getting them, whether I'm helping them get started, whether I'm taking them out in the bush, whether I'm like just sitting on the phone with them video while they're in the bush. Like I spend all day every day on, I hate the phone and I'm on it all day every day. I walk around with battery packs because my shit dies now, because I'm always helping somebody do something. Or I'm taking like, I'm like, okay, I'll have to show you. And I take that into my next video and I put it out there and I show it. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what I do on a regular basis. And if I get big picture questions, then in the you know in the process, then that's great. But I used to get a lot of information and a lot of answers. The Sasquatch slowed me to a stop for the most part because they have me doing what they want me to do. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to honor that and play my role. You know what I mean?
How often do you go out and because I was just came to mind right now, like that maybe I need to do more like going out there alone and uh
You
without the
should.
camera, without the phone, and more connecting with them that way too, you know?
The camera isn't
Like
the
not
camera
like
isn't always an issue
just for me,
because
just for
you
me
can get
and them though.
you. Yeah, I would consider doing that a lot more, bro. A lot more. A
Mhm.
group is great. A group is fun, but it limits what you're gonna get because they're gonna try to Now again, here's
They're vibing at
from
different
experience.
frequencies.
From experience, when I'm with somebody, when I go out with somebody, I know now to tell them because I know they're gonna try to reach us individually. So I know now when I'm out with somebody, I know enough to say to them, "Hey, let's break apart for a minute." Every so often, "Hey, let's break apart. Let's go over there." And usually it's somebody's like, "Oh my God, did you hear that?" And I'm like, "I didn't hear anything. That was so
Yeah.
loud. You didn't hear it?" Like, I didn't hear anything at all, zero. And you heard something loud, loud, loud. I'm like, okay, so we need to spread out for a minute. You go over there, check it out for a minute. I'll stay right here. Don't go too far, dangerous far, or whatever. If it's night, which it's not usually. We don't usually do night, but now we're doing a night doc. You know what I mean? But so I'm starting to expand on that. But
Here's another thing too. When you're working with somebody, it depends on the person too, but for the most part, I've noticed that we end up distracting each other from what's actually
right,
going on around
For
because we're
sure.
busy talking to
For
each
sure.
other, trying to understand each other instead of understanding the surrounding. And so, for me, for the most part, um, although many times I've filmed stuff where people have been with me, but I think that actually the most intense stuff and the most important stuff that I've actually documented was I've just been solo. So, which is 90% of the time anyway. It's not going solo for me.
I'll tell you right now. Well, exactly. I'll say that about 90% of the time, it is 100% like that. But I have had some encounters or some experiences with the group as well, for
Sure,
sure.
absolutely. Yeah.
But for the most part, they are. You'll have an experience when you are alone, or these things are for the most part for the person who's
You're just
experiencing
more in
it.
tune with the surrounding
What
when
up,
you're by
Eric?
yourself. It's just
I'm gonna
natural.
I'm gonna invite Eric into the room if he wants to. We're just
You,
chatting
you,
and chilling. Eric has had
the one thing
some
I'm doing as well
experiences.
this year is I'm documenting the transformation of the trees, and that includes like from the budding of the trees to the leafing out of the trees. And so every single day, like around my neighbors and all that, because that's where a lot of my uh, stuff that I film is actually in my town. It's in my neighborhood, so I film the trees every day At least like this morning, I took some footage. Just and it's well, maybe if I find something not that's cool, but also I think documenting the transformation of what's going on in the forest is a part of all this too. You know, we talk about energy, and I strongly believe that they use the energy of the trees. You know what I mean? And what comes out of it.
These are a lot to
So,
some of them. I've been trying to teach people about dryads. You know what I mean? Dryads and nymphs and all these tree and earth elementals and shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's a ton of them, man. Absolutely.
We
Oh,
got
yeah.
Eric in the room here too.
Easy
Eric's
E,
a
what
Hey
up?
guys, let me know if the sound of the rain on my metal tin roof is too loud. If it interferes, then I'll hop off.
Oh, there's
You're
the
good, bro.
legend Eric James, man. Eric's has got some awesome images. What's up, man?
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
got
I've
a
been
cool
doing
ass.
this now going on. I've been doing this now going on 2 years almost. 2 years in June, and I have 12 different research locations here in Washington State.
Mm-hmm. Straight up.
So we got Washington, we got Rhode Island, we got BC, and I'm in
Are you
Ohio on the
laughing
border of
at your
Michigan.
comments? No, man. He doesn't stop like talking to my little brother. ORD.
What?
Man. Someone doesn't stop talking like my little brother. That's what somebody said in the comments.
Man, I got things to say, man. I'm a machine. I'm
Let
sorry,
him
man.
out. Let him out. So Eric has had lots of Eric's just across the border from where I'm at.
Lord is very passionate. Let's just say that.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Lord,
And you know,
Lord's very.
you know what we're doing is really important. It's part of our reality, and I think it's been hidden for a month, and we're bringing it back. So
Bringing it
Evidently.
back. Who gifted me 2 things? Somebody. Thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah, man. So anything new going on over where you're at, Eric?
Oh yeah, I have a new family group that I'm trying to warm up to. They've been, pretty resistant to all that so far. The last time I went out there, I got a bunch of ticks on me, and
Yeah.
trudging down into the swampy area where I found a couple footprints, and I've been able to capture some things on video and some photographs in the area. One of the videos I captured it's just this exquisite video that actually shows a Sasquatch coming out of cloak, and you could see its head move. And that one's got so much hate when I tried to post that and explain what was going on. But I'm used to it, and I got thick skin, so I'm not worried about that. I know what I know, and I know what the truth is, and I'm going to continue to do my research. And yeah, that's it.
I filmed that about 4 years ago on a potato camera, right? And it got so it's pretty much everybody's favorite, and it's the most hated on. So you know what I mean? Yeah, probably that's how we met. Remember how we met? Remember? You shared it, remember? Paranormal Caught on Camera picked it up, so it can't be that fucking bad, right? So I mean,
yeah.
Right? So, but the point is, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. 100%, man. I totally agree.
I was live streaming. I was live streaming. That's what people don't understand. I was like, oh shit, I see something out there, something big. I'm like, okay. I started live. I think I was live streaming when I started at that point. I started walking back there, and that's some bitch. She's phasing in and out, and she's in the bush, and she's like manipulating everything around her to like, I mean, bro, let me tell you. And I got down on one knee and just like kind of put my head down and I got submissive to her. I did not know what else to do. I had no idea what else to do at the time. I just started talking to her, and like my phone's going off because my barber's calling me, and I have like my ringer on still, and like he's calling in, and I'm like, no, like trying to hang it up because it's like, and I'm like, and I got people on Messenger sending me the pictures, the screenshots, because they're on the live stream, so those keep coming in, and I'm like a mess between everything going on. And then every time he shows his necklace, I show my tattoo. It's just a thing. So anyway, point is, you know what you got, you know what you videoed, so nobody can take that away from you. Nobody, not me, not him, not the naysayers. Nobody. That's between
That's
you
right.
and that.
You know, all I am is a truth seeker. That's what I am at my core. And how everything started with me is I had an encounter with 4 Sasquatch up off of Chinook Pass here in Washington State with 6 other people. The encounter lasted for about an hour and 15 minutes. And there's a whole story behind that, like how I even got up there and all that. But
You know what,
my
Jared?
first experience.
Jared, I need to get you on my show, my live, and do an interview with James. I want to interview you. I've had
I have
I got
so
Mike,
much
Mike's
content.
been on my show, and Jared has been on the show, and I want you to come on my show too and talk about your experiences. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, I'm more than willing to do that, man. Like I said, I just want to get the truth out there, so we could approach this the right way. You know, like when I first started, I was only 5 years old. I'm 43 years old now, right? I was 5 years old the first time I had an experience with Sasquatch. And then again, I had another experience when I was 7, but then I didn't have any other experiences until I was 40 or 41, something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, my brother-in-law, or ex-brother-in-law, he gave me a phone call and he told me about these encounters he was having. And the reason why that was significant is because, you know, growing up, I've known him since I was like, 12, something like that. And I would tell him the stories that I had when I was a kid, and he laughed at me because he's an outdoorsman. He's an avid hunter, fisherman. He's goes out picking mushrooms, hiking, rock hounding. He spends probably 90% of his life out in the woods. And I always asked him, I said, well, what would you ever do if you saw one? He goes, well, I'd shoot it in the face. Right. And that was always his response. Right. Yeah. Well, I get a phone call from him and he's like, hey, you're not going to believe this. I go, what? He goes, I shot a Sasquatch. I go, you're full of shit. Yeah. I was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you whatsoever. So, a year passes, right? And he gives me another phone call, says, hey, your niece Mackenzie, she's graduating. Do you want to come over to her graduation in Eastern Washington? I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. So we went over there and did the graduation thing and had dinner. And what she wanted to do to celebrate graduation was go out rock hounding because, we're outdoorsy type people. So we go up to, you guys know where Little Nat Cheese is?
No, I don't. Not offhand.
Little Nat Cheese is kind of up by, it's up on Chinook Pass here in Washington State. Chinook Pass goes right past Mount Rainier, right? But this is over on the other side of the mountains, more towards Eastern Washington. And, so we go up there, we do our rock hounding. And I found some cool prints. I found a wolf print, found some other prints, some large cat prints and all that. And then we went to his cousin's campsite. They got like a couple big bonfires going. There's a bunch of people there and we're hanging out, and then we were there for only like an hour and a half. And he's like, hey, we're getting ready to leave. He's like, do you want to go up to where I had the experiences with the Sasquatch? And I was like, well, hell yeah, let's go do that. And so we went up there and it's about 9 miles back on logging roads where they're doing some clear cutting away from, the closest campsite. So about a 5,000 foot elevation. And we get up there and, he shows me this tree structure on the side of the road that got built the day after he told me he shot the one. Right. And, we get up there and he explains, another quarter mile up the road, he marked the spot with he put a big rock on top of a clear cut stump. And so we drive up the road, and he's got like these really powerful flashlights that are like basically like spotlights. So we're just driving looking for eye shine. And we go up there, don't see anything, and we turn around, and on the way back down, I catch, two sets of eye shine. And the eye shine looked like something I had never seen before. And I've seen just about everything. I think the only thing I haven't seen at nighttime is like a bear. But I've seen any other animal you could think of here in Washington State, at nighttime, and I couldn't explain it. And though we had the lights on it, all we could see were the eye shine, and it was like looking at like a black silhouette on black. So it was really hard to distinguish anything. And yeah, and so the eye shine, they start looking at each other, and then they look at us. And they kept going back from like looking at each other, looking at us, and then they were looking away from each other. And then him and Sally and Mackenzie and Serene, they go up the road. He gets out. He's got these really nice, or what do they call? They're like night vision goggles, right?
Yeah.
And so he's looking for more eye shine and stuff. But me and his son Lucas are still standing where we got out of the vehicle at. And we're watching them for about 15 minutes, but I tell you, when they turned to the side to take off, I saw every single detail of them. I saw their hair. I saw them from head down to just below their knees. The rest of their body was covered by bushes. And then when they took off, it was so incredibly fast. Like the only way that I could describe it is like highway speeds fast. Like they went from 0 to like fast, like just a blink of an eye. And it made me go, whoa, did you guys see that? And then, another really cool thing is while they were turning to the side, you could still see their eyes shine from like the peripheral view of their faces, right? So they take off. And this whole time I'm standing there, I'm being overwhelmed with this feeling of curiosity. Like I'm being just blasted with infrasound. Like, and I'm not feeling scared. I felt like I was a little kid again. Like I was super curious. And so Lucas and we start walking down the road in the direction that they went. But then, like as we're walking, there's these two boulders next to the road that are like the size of SUVs. And something in my gut said, don't go by that. There's danger. Right. And I always listen to my gut. So I turn around and like right when we're turning around to head back, everybody starts just geeking out about what they're seeing in his night vision. So we walk up to where they are. It's probably a couple 100 feet from where I had walked to. And sure enough, in his night vision, there's one that's super low to the ground. And the size of its head was the size of like some nearby clear-cut stumps. This thing was freaking huge. And so we're watching that, and I'm getting a little bit nervous, right? And I start thinking about like behind us on the hillside is super thick woods. This is before they had cut down that side of the road. And so I'm shining my light all around trying to pick up more eye shine. I end up picking up more eye shine of one that was peeking out from behind a tree. But how fast it was peeking its head out, I can't replicate that with my own head. I can't like how the eye shine, the head was going out back and forth. It was so fast, I can't even replicate it. And then so Jeff's like, hey, he tells everybody that he's gonna, shoot a shot with his pistol. And he's going to shoot away from us in a safe direction because he wanted to see, what it would do if it'd get up and run or something or whatever, right? So just almost like simultaneously when he fired the shot, the other two that had taken off, they came running back. And so we're standing there and just watching eye shine, watching these beans. And eventually, the one that was in his night vision, it just disappears. It's like, poof, gone, right? And then the one that was peeking out, it was gone. And then we watched as the other two, as they, their eye shine filtered down through the trees and the bushes till we would just catch the occasional, like, one eye kind of shining through the bushes. And that's how it all started for me. I had a legit, real experience. It was rather incredible for me, and it changed the trajectory of my life like forever.
Yeah.
And so after that, man, I got so many things that have happened after that. I ended up, if I fast forward to about 6 months from there, I ended up finding a research location at an undisclosed location here, about an hour from where I live, and I ended up developing a relationship with a family that I estimates between 2 to 3 dozen Sasquatch, and
Can
so
I slow
that's the reason why. What's that?
Can I slow you down real quick?
Sure.
I just want to say one thing, bro, and it's because it's so important. You're forming a relationship, and I'm so happy for you because that's amazing. Like, I'm so happy you're doing that. Stay away from your brother-in-law or whoever the fuck that is that's shooting at them, because that, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That shit is gonna get.
He has.
It's gonna get you guys hurt. Like, because one night it's not gonna be Sasquatch or something, you know what I mean? And they're gonna come hauling dick out of that woods and start ripping him apart.
Yes, I agree. So that was the thing. Like, him and I are the polar opposites. We are completely polar opposites. I do not believe, for the record, I do not believe in hurting these people whatsoever. Like, that's not even a thought in my thought pattern. Like, and I do go with him sometime, up to the old research location, because like I had to go up there, because I had to do more research up there. I couldn't just not go back up there. And I had several other instances. Like, have you guys ever heard them talk before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the chatter.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I've heard that, experienced that. I speak a little bit of Lashutseed, because I work for a tribe here in Washington State. I have friends in all different kinds of tribes, and so I take more of an indigenous person's perspective when it comes to what they are and what they do. That's my own personal perspective on it. And but yeah, I 100% agree, and I've been trying to convince him for 2 years that he needs to change his ways. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to convince him, but I have got him to agree that when I am with him, that he will not do what he already did. And there's a whole story behind what he did. And he had one 30 feet away from him that was uncloaked. It stood up. It scared the crap out of his wife. And he thought that it was like flexing on him. And then that's why what happened. They were scared. They thought that this thing was going to hurt them. But it doesn't matter. Like, what I would do would be something similar to like taking a knee. Be like, hey, I'm going to be submissive here. I don't want to hurt you. I'm here because I'm a truth seeker, and out of my own curiosity and out of me wanting to learn and to grow and develop myself.
I don't even carry a weapon myself when I go out. I don't even think about it.
I used to not carry a weapon at my research location until I was escorted out by about a 500-pound cougar for about 500 yards. And so that's the only reason why I carry. And when I go to, I have a practice. When I go to one of my research locations, I smudge myself. I burn sage. I pray. I let them know what I'm doing there. I thank them for letting me be there. I ask them for their guidance. I ask them for them to help me learn and grow and develop myself. I let them know that I myself am a teacher. I'm a teacher, okay? So I let them know that I'm a teacher, and yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to, after this, I'm going to message you on TikTok with my email. I want you to join me this week on my show whenever you're free one evening. And let's talk about it. I got a show with Biggie and Josh tomorrow, and those guys' experiences they had recently. But I want you to join me on the show. So when you see it, please respond. Because I believe me, you're going to have. I don't know. Ask the guys. They'll both been on my show. It's going to be a good time, right?
He will harass you.
Yeah. You would have asked me 2 years ago if I'd ever been doing this. I would have laughed at you. I would have said you're full of shit. I would have been like, nah.
6 years ago, I went out to disprove it. I was out to, because I'm a truther. I've big time. Had shows with had thousands of subs before they took me down, and I was, but I went out to try to disprove Bigfoot. Next thing you know, within 6 months, I'm standing next to a Crow Indian medicine man and have one 15 feet in front of my freaking face. I know they're real. So, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they are. They do exist.
I wouldn't mind if ORD actually told his story, if you wouldn't mind, because it's a crazy story.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's long and lengthy, and to be honest with you, I'll do it sometime. But I want to listen to these guys. That's what
Okay.
It's part of my thing. That's why I want you guys on my show is to hear your guys' side of the story. You know what I mean? I have my own story that I share on my show. Most people don't really.
How about this? How about you, or whatever? It could be all three of you. I don't give a shit. How about you guys come on my channel and you guys talk about your own experiences on there, and then hopefully,
anytime
we can
all just do each other.
You know that anytime we'll join.
I mean, hopefully, the idea is I got all them fucking subscribers, and I like to throw them, in your guys' directions. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, man.
Jared, you make sure to record this and put this on your YouTube channel. This is an important conversation. It is.
Oh, I will, definitely.
You got 4 different researchers combined, right, sharing a bit of their stories from 4 different parts of North America. It's saying something.
That's badass. If you ask me, that's my opinion. I think that's fucking awesome, and it's the truth. That's where we're headed. Where exactly we are
definitely sharing the truth.
There it is, man.
What the hell's that? Look at that. How is that X on there?
This is a marking that the people have been using for thousands of years around here. Okay, this is the transformer, the hulls.
No, look at that. It has a J. It has a J at the bottom.
This is a woman. It's hard to see in the lighting right now, but this has the story of creation carved into it.
Put it back up.
Sasquatch.
That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
Look at that.
I've been gifted all kinds of rocks and different things like that. Had stuff thrown at me. Never to hurt me, but
Oh yeah.
Fucking mate. I should have took a screenshot to show you. Bro, do you see the J in the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like it's
last
not
night,
a J,
I got a phone call from MT Paranormal. Him and cameraman went out to the swamp last night again, and MT, he had a softball-sized rock thrown at him, which bounced off 2 trees and landed 5 feet from him.
Wait, sorry, I got to say something here because I had a realization earlier when Eric was talking, and now I remember it. And you guys were talking about structures and possibly when they did them, right? And at nighttime, when we were out at Chehalis one night, we seen orbs like crazy that night, right? Sure. And I could see 2 orbs showed up, and then all of a sudden tree breaking. So I'm wondering if that's kind of how they did it and when they do it. Is at nighttime like that? Like it was like
strong
an
connection.
You see orbs show up, and then trees are breaking.
Well, I have a theory too that the Sasquatch actually manipulates and uses other interdimensional beings or spirits to help create the stuff. So to kind of guide them and direct them to kind of carry these things and all that and put them in place. You know what I mean? What do you think?
They're in charge of the whole entire forest. You know what I mean? There's elementals, right? We know this, right? There's a water. This is the best way I can explain it to who want to know. They're forest people that watch over the forest. This is what they are. They're forest guardians, but they're masters of it all. They're masters of energy, all elements. So while there's an elemental or a water elemental, that water elemental specializes in water and it does its whatever magic over there in the water. But it's no good over there in the grass and the tree, right? That tree elemental is no good over there in the water, right? Whatever. The Sasquatch is the elemental of all. So it is. This is where it has no problem poofing into anything and everything in the trees, in the bush, in the water, in the earth, in the sky.
Yeah. That's legit. That is legit. I know from personal experience. I have stuff that happens at my house almost every single day. Almost every single day. And I live just on the county line. Like, there are houses all around me. And I have stuff happening here all the time. One of their favorite things to do is they like to take pebbles and put them on my metal roof and roll them off to let me know they're here. You know, I've had them hand slap the inner wall of my shop. When I wasn't in there, they did that for my dad. My dad had one wrap its hand around his head while he was sleeping.
Me too, man.
Like, I've had crazy, crazy shit. My brother got pushed by something we couldn't see. What's that?
I'll put your mind at ease. Ready? I'll put your mind at ease that you're not alone. There's my neighbor. There's a 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 neighbor. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, this, it doesn't make a difference. Don't make a difference. You know, I know you know that, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, people act like that's an impossible thing because they're picturing that they physically have to walk there, right? And that's why I always tell them they're not skipping through the fucking neighborhood, you know, like under the streetlights to get here.
No,
you know what I mean? They don't ride the bus, you know. So it's not. It's.
Love it.
So I'm so sorry. Go ahead. They'd like to throw things off the tin roof, which it's odd that you said that now because that was the first when you said in the beginning that you have a tin roof and the rain on the tin roof. That tin roof stuck in my mind this whole conversation. Since you said, is the rain going to be too loud off my tin roof? I couldn't get that tin roof out of my head this whole time. It's kind of interesting that you said that they threw pebbles off it.
Yeah, don't forget about tapping.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff. You know, I've had another thing too is like I've also my main research location. There's dogmen that are present. There are other entities that are there.
Oh,
you know, I've captured some stuff on film that's I can't explain. You know, that like what is that? You know, like some of my native friends looked at some of my footage. They're like, "Oh, that's a stick Indian." I was like, "Well, what's a stick Indian?" Because I don't know. You know.
Yeah, it's
and everyone explaining to me what I'm seeing on the film, and I have something arranged actually this summer. I'm gonna go out to. So I have some friends in the Quinault tribe over on the West Coast on the beach, and they're gonna take me onto their reservation and let me do some research and investigating there. And then I also have a good friend that's actually head of the Nisqually security. He's going to take me on some Nisqually land that nobody has access to on the res. I'm going to be able to do some research and investigating there. And I mean, shit, that's like, 8 minutes from my house. I live fairly close to the Nisqually River here in Lacey, Washington. I could 5-minute drive and I'm at the Nisqually River.
I have filmed so many different types of entities. I filmed ones that clearly are human beings, so human being spirits. I filmed ones that look like cats. I filmed ones that have white faces, that have black faces, ones that have gray faces. I filmed all sorts of them, documented, because I do believe, well, I don't believe, I know, that there are multiple entities that are always around when Sasquatch is around. And even if Sasquatch isn't around, there's still multiple entities in the trees. I truly believe that they use the trees as a highway to go from the underworld to the middle world to the upper world.
It's the energy. It's the energy that they use. My personal take on the beings of the forest is they are using the energy from the vegetation. That's how when you see one that's cloaked, you'll see one, it could be in a shadow. It could look like it's green. A lot of times, like when I'm up there, they'll come like in a purple haze or a purple mist or a white milky substance is what you'll see them. I've seen them look like something from Predator.
Eric, what about this idea? Yeah. What if they contribute to the formation, the development of the tree, the leaves themselves? In other words, they're kind of like interdimensional spiritual gardeners of these trees, so that they actually help create the leaves and help with the life of the tree itself.
That would not surprise me whatsoever from what I've experienced. That sounds like tomato to me,
Yeah, man.
if that
Fuck
makes
yeah.
any sense.
It
Sure.
does.
Yeah.
There's strong connection between them and the trees. The trees can't exist
Yeah.
any more than they can. There's a
Yeah.
symbiotic relationship going on with these interdimensional beings in the trees.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% on that. You know, and for me, I mean, my experience is like when I'm not playing Sasquatch paparazzi, when I'm not out there like filming or taking pictures, I'll go to a location, but like, look, I'm not going to take any photos today, not going to take any video, and I'll have them show themselves to me. They will legit come. I've had them,
We're doing good
let's see, as
shit.
close as 25 feet show themselves to me. And then I've had them like in the white milky substance come as close as 1 foot right up to me. Like I've had them right next to me. I have a
Oh yeah,
picture of my
me
dad.
too, man.
The first time I
That-
brought my dad to my research location, and we had two of them cloaked come and stand in the video right behind him. Like legit. Like if you hopped onto my my TikTok, you would find a video where there's a picture of that's on there. I got all kinds
I'll do it right
of
now.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, I've watched a
Yeah.
lot of your videos already on TikTok. So I really want you to come on my show next week. So make it happen, man. I'll email you and we'll talk.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a very informative and revealing conversation about what's really going on with Sasquatch and forest people and entities. So yeah, please make it happen, man.
Yeah,
Man,
that's cool.
we the video that we made yesterday is crazy, man. Crazy. We went to this place where our buddy had a log thrown at him about a month and a half ago, about 3 foot, 2.5 feet foot chunk of log. He was driving in his SUV down this mountain service road, and in the right passenger or driver, like the side mirror, he's looking and he sees this log come flying out and it smashes into his SUV. He turns around and there's no log there anymore. It's gone. So that trips them out, right? They're in West Harrison, up in Sasquatch freaking Central, right? So we go up there yesterday and we find this area, and there's the most tree breaks I've ever seen in my life. This road there's the main mountain service road, and there's this road that went old abandoned one. They went up the hill, around a bend, down, up over a huge like cliff, behind it to like a dead end area. The whole fucking road was just like tree break, trees twisted, and like barriers, like trying to stop people from going in like crazy, man. It was I call it Tree Break Alley because it's literally, it's insane. You guys you'll lose it when you see it, man. If you're around
What
the
kind of
E,
trees are
check
they?
it out. It's all different kinds, man. All different kinds. There's like
Oh, that's
I'm
cool.
not sure the name, but like the pine trees. They're like the fir, the needle trees. There's birch trees. There's, I don't know, but there's literally all different kinds. It's insane. This area is nuts, man. You guys will, if you're around,
That's
check it out
awesome.
tonight. It will be 6 o'clock tonight if you want to check out the video. If you're free.
Yeah. No, I got a lot of things planned. I really admire you guys, you know, having your TikTok channels and stuff. I don't know if I ever will do anything like that per se, but what I do have plans to do some writing. That's one of my skill sets.
Yes,
I
man.
mean, I even write children's stories, you know, like it's one of my skill sets. And I have this mentor, a guy named Dr. Robert Alley. He's published quite a few books, and he's a friend of mine. The last few times that I've been out squatching, I've been with him. You know, I was funny because my first experience with him, I was vetting him. One of the things I do is I won't bring, I've only brought in one other person besides family to my main research location because I believe in keeping it private and helping them stay, you know, I don't know how to explain, help them keep their you know, the sensitive part of where they live at. I guess that's how I would say that. You know, not that way you don't have like 1,000 people up there trying to find them, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I was vetting, Dr. Rob, and he has the exact same kind of like belief towards him that I do. So then he shared his research location with me, and I've taken him to mine, and he's found some different stuff that I didn't even think about when we were out there. He's been doing this for 30, 40 years, something like that. He spent 14 years up in Alaska doing research and investigating. I think like 9 years up in Canada doing research and investigating. He's a pretty cool dude, but he's my mentor when it comes to writing because he's already a published author. He has like something like at least 5 books out, something like that. So
cool.
That's kind of the path that I'm going to take, I think.
I think that'd be really fucking amazing, man, because you got so much information to share with people, man, and I think you could do a really good job at making a book for sure. You're very well spoken, and I'm sure you're just as good at writing. So I think it'd be amazing.
Yeah, and then the things like I could sit here, like I told you before, like I could sit here all day for a week, and you still wouldn't even hear everything I have to say. It's just been a lot. I go out almost every weekend. I'm a teacher. I work, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, but on the weekends I'm out in the woods.
Yeah.
So I wish I could do it full time.
What's going on?
I could do it full time. Man, the things that I could. Oh, say that again. I didn't hear you. Sorry, I was talking over you.
I was just being cynical and sarcastic. I said, man, you're a normal dude. What are you doing here with us? What's going on? Just joking.
Yeah, just a regular guy, and I love what I'm doing. I think my life purpose for the rest of my life is going to be focused on this. I mean, I used to have all different kinds of hobbies and stuff. The day that I had my first encounter, all that changed. It all went to the wayside because that wasn't important anymore.
Exactly. You have no choice in that. I don't believe we even have a choice, the 4 of us. If we try to go back and have a normal, like, quote unquote, normal life and just ignore this, I mean, I try to do it myself, and it came back with vengeance. They want us to know them and what's going on. And it's like, it's part of the paradigm shift that we're part of right now. They want to reveal the truth about them and what else is going on.
Yeah. If I miss a weekend and I'm not out at one of my locations, right? If I miss a weekend, they'll come to my house and they'll kind of hassle me until I get my ass out there. That's legit. Like they'll come over, roll the rocks off the roof. They'll make whoops. Every once in a while I'll smell one, but it's never been really strong. It's always been kind of faint. They make this weird owl call, and it sounds like a sick owl, and it's not an owl. It's just the way that it sounds, and it's not like a. It's not like a weird owl. It's like more like a. And it sounds like a. I don't know, an owl that's not like a.
I'm using that. That's mine. Don't touch it. Weird Al Yankovic call. Don't nobody's stealing.
That's funny. Yeah, but all kinds of stuff, I actually had an event happen that scared me, that made me stop my research investigating from about the end of August, early September, until my sister ended up passing of a brain aneurysm. And then how I shared my first experience was I was looking for a way to kind of, I guess, grief. I don't know. I started sharing my stuff, and then it all kind of took off from there.
Interesting. I've had different experiences. I've had one's very positive. Like the first encounter when I was standing next with that Crow Indian medicine man, I really believe that, and it came from having a conversation with Jared, that the Sasquatch actually probably saved my life from something negative happening, because that afterwards it turns out that this Crow Indian was practicing very dark magic. I then had a very, very negative encounter. It was 3 days of spiritual warfare back in, and I remember the days in December of 2017. But that's the last time I had any negative really experiences. Since then, it's been nothing but positive. So I think a lot of these are lessons that are trying to teach us, at least for me, about understanding what's really going on, who they are, what other things are going on, what's the approach, because at the beginning of this stuff, I thought they were all demons. I'm being honest with you. 6 years ago, I thought they were all demonic because I was still heavily influenced by my Christian belief. But today, I don't believe any of it. I don't believe any.
That's the aspect that my brother-in-law takes. That's why he shot at that one. He thinks they're Nephilim. I personally don't think that they are. That's just my take. He thinks
they're not even close to being that. Scott's not
What's
right
that?
about that. Scott's not right about that in my book. From what my research of these scriptures and them, they're not even close to being quote unquote Nephilim. But here's the other thing. Like my brother's the same way. My big brother was like a Green Beret, had his own dojo, and he had his own counter too sighting in Northern California. But he just sent me a survival spear. I don't know if you guys know what those survival spears are, but it's a spear for close combat. And I'm like, what am I going to do with the survival spears? You think I'm going to go out in the woods with that? And do you think I'm going to throw a spear at that Bigfoot if it shows up? He's really heavily Christian too, so he really sees them as all demonic. And I'm just like, they're not. I don't know what else to say except I've had numerous experiences I know that they're not. They're not doing anything negative to me, and for just revealing the truth to me, it's what they're doing. And that
right.
There's times when I feel the dread and I feel the fear, but I don't believe it's them. I think there's other entities in the forest, in the woods, and in my neighborhood, in my area, that are not the same thing as Sasquatch, that do have, maybe sinister intents. We live in a dualistic system, a world where there's night and day and darkness and light. I'll say this, I say this all the time, right? So the thing is, there's going to be good and bad as well in their realm. It's just how the creation is, right? What I mean by good and bad is there's going to be things that are going to, maybe feel like they're going to threaten us. And there are things that are going to protect us and everything in between. So it's not, you can't have a blanket statement that this is exactly, from my experience, right? You can't say that it's demonic. You just can't do it. It might seem, there's a lot of them that I film and look at and be like, man, they look like something out of a horror movie or a freak show. But a part of that is because of our indoctrination, our brainwashing through movies, horror movies. What people have been telling us is what is evil. And I do believe at this point that the reason they've been telling us that because they never want us to rediscover this stuff. And to me,
that's a valid point. That is a valid point.
So my approach to this now, okay, you're not a human standard of beauty, but if I think about all this research maybe on insects or other animals, there's a lot of freaky physical animals out there. That look like something that could be part of a great horror movie, right? We accept them, right? Why can't we learn to accept these things too? The good, bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? When I stopped judging and just started going with it, things dramatically changed for me. So positively.
Yeah, I've had both positive and negative experiences, but my positive experiences far outnumber my negative experiences. So it's probably about 80% of the time it's been really positive. 20% of the time it's been, what the hell was that? Like when we found our research location, we went up there 3 weekends in a row before they accepted us in the area, and it was close to a freshly clear cut area. And man, I tell you what, we go down there being hit with infrasound a bunch of different times. They were throwing logs off the hillside. You could hear them, and they did that for like a half hour.
But Eric, that's a great point. Now think about what you're saying, because I've heard numerous stories where there's really negative experience happening when there's clear cut and there's logging. Part of that is response to the irresponsible behavior on our part in dealing and managing the forest, and how we just treat them as nothing more than natural resources and not something that's much more significant part of our lives. I think that's part of
Yep.
the whole scenario here, where people are having bad experiences, especially in these clear cutting areas.
Yeah, and I think there's a lesson to be learned within all of that. And I think that's one of the ways that they are like educating me and helping me grow. I used to never think that I would be the guy that like sees a bug on the ground and is like, don't step on it. Right. After this is all began, one of the things that's changed inside of me is the value of all life.
Yes. For sure.
You know?
100%.
Man, another thing too, when they were after they threw they were throwing these rounds or logs or stumps or something. We couldn't see it, we could only hear it. Off of the hill, you could hear it sounded like wood on wood. It was going like boom, 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 boom. And you can hear that for like a half hour. Then they started beating the hell out of the logging equipment with the logs. And you could hear it going like wood on metal, like wang, quang. We even went over there and we were trying to find the equipment that they were beating up so I could document it. And there was some equipment up by one of the roads, but about, a quarter mile down this hillside that was pretty treacherous, there was more equipment by the tree line, but we didn't walk down there to go to that area. How they ended up accepting us was how we knew they accepted us was they revealed themselves to us in some random photographs, and they accepted our gifting of sage and tobacco. Nice. And then after that, the whole dynamic of our experiences there changed. They accepted us into the area, and then that's really when I began starting to really grow. And it's almost like it's a spiritual work, like it's spirit work.
100%.
Like they're helping you grow in a way that. Go ahead. They're helping you grow in a way that I don't think that we could do necessarily naturally, if that makes any sense. Like they're helping. And the one thing I guarantee to you guys that we all have in common is that veil that separates us from the reality has been lifted.
Oh, yeah.
That's my take on it. That veil has been lifted. We know that there's way more truth out there. There's a lot more truth out there than what the average person understands, or maybe even is capable of understanding.
100%, man.
It took a long time for them to prepare me to be open-minded enough to accept them. It took years, a decade at least.
I've been
being a truther.
I've been open my whole life,
about
man. My
how
whole
the world
life.
is. Go ahead, man.
So crazy. I've never had a problem.
I'm excited
with
the rain's died off enough that I can hear you guys better. It gets loud in my shop, man. I got like a 900 square foot shop with a tin roof, and when it dumps, man, it's loud. It's like, jeez. But yeah,
for me, so I was a heavy truther, right? I was really exposed to like the Vatican and all, the pyramidal structure that rules our life in the physical form, a human form, right? And so once I learned about all this darkness and how the world really works, then, through doing all that, seeing how things are done, and then me trying to prove that Bigfoot wasn't real, using the skills that I developed as a researcher and a truther, it led me to the realization that Bigfoot not only is, or Sasquatch is always real, but there's multiple entities there, and that is an extremely important part of our reality that has been taken away from us. Now, let's think about the camera. Let's think about audio equipment and all this other stuff. And then let's also look at shamanic traditions and also other traditions and other people's cultures throughout the whole world, in which they say they took ayahuasca or hallucinogenics, mushrooms, whatever, in order to see things, right? They were trying to have an experience where they could, interact with the other side. Now, today in 2023, we have this new modern technology. We're mimicking what they experienced back then with the hallucinogenics. We're revealing through technology what our ancestors already knew, if it makes any sense. Because the technology is breaking through the veil, right? It's our perspective is so limited as far as visual and as far as what we see. So, but with a camera, with audio equipment, with all this other stuff, it's enhancing our ability to see what's always been around us. And we're mimicking what used to be something that was done through shamanic principle traditions and spiritual rituals and rites. We're doing it through technology and our research. I don't know if you realize.
I can relate to that.
Digital shamans, man of the future.
Yeah, future shamans. The digital shamans of the future. That's us. That's what we are. We don't even realize it. Or maybe we do. I don't know.
Do, though, man. I do. I know. I already know, man.
Well, yeah. Many people. I shouldn't say that. I don't know who knows or realizes it, but it's a great expression that we are digital shamans of today and the future.
I opened the minds of fucking thousands of people, man. I guarantee I've opened the minds of people. So many. It's crazy. And even when I get to speak with people in person and I drop knowledge on them, when I really go on it, people's minds get opened. And they become believers until they become a knower, It's wild when I've seen so many people's minds opened. It's insane.
Yeah, I've seen all different kinds of responses from people that I've shown them things. I like to take the aspect of taking somebody out and showing them the truth, and I've seen people get really scared, and I've seen people just have like these tranquil moments, I guess it depends on the person to a certain degree.
For sure.
Absolutely. If you're not prepared to experience what you're about to experience, I mean, they are compassionate enough not to reveal themselves, because there's a lot of people I know from my own experience about who I was back then, and others that if they had these experiences that we have, they'd be freaked out and think they're demon possessed, or they're being you know what I'm saying? They're like they think it's a curse instead of a blessing, based on their own thinking and their own indoctrination and how they understand the world. And some they're much more patient with, and some they just don't, like myself. They're very patient teaching me stuff. It took like 6 years to get to this point.
Touch back on guys.
For me,
like real quick on real. I wish people like him who have a big following and shit, and have a lot of people lending an ear to him, he should not just be talking facts when he doesn't know facts. You know what I mean? Like, that's reckless.
That's a very valid point. If you really think about the generations of research investigators that have come before us, what did they think? They thought they were some monkey out in the woods.
Belinda won.
There clearly was an agenda afoot too. Let's be honest, with this pareidolia nonsense and trying to distract people from, and try to convince people that what they're seeing in these pictures and what their experience is either hallucinations or they're just seeing pareidolia. It's very dismissive, and then this whole thing of pushing so hard on the physical side of things. And you see these, there's a thing called the weaponization of anthropology and the sciences, and you clearly see that's what they've done. How the weaponization, what I mean by that is they try to steer the populace in a certain direction instead of going in the right direction, because, they don't want to jeopardize their position of power and authority over us, right? But I honestly believe once people realize this stuff is happening,
I'm here to change the game, man.
It's going to change everything. It's going to change the theological approach of life, philosophical, and scientific approach. We're going to go back to the way we used to be before we became so materialistic and so destructive to our surrounding and dismissive of it. You know what I mean? We've lost a huge part of who we are.
Traditional ways.
Which are very valid and very much in tune with the creation. You know what I mean? We are, let's be honest, we are nothing like our ancestors. Our ancestors are so much more in tune with the surrounding, the spiritual realm, everything. You know what I mean? Plant life.
Yeah.
We are much more in tune.
For me,
they had to be.
my family has a history of being sensitive to the paranormal. It runs in my blood. You know, I used to be a children's pastor.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the things that I experienced when I was doing that were supernatural experiences. So there's a whole nother side to the veil that most people, even people that are dedicated people that go to church service and believe in God, they just don't experience. I experience it firsthand because I'm sensitive to it. When I'm out in the woods, not only can I see them, but I could feel them. I can feel them when they are nearby. And that's something I think that's a little bit different from me than a lot of other people is I know when they're there. You know,
I think we all have that in common, to be honest with you, the four of us.
Yeah, I think that everybody is capable of that, and we all have that. It's just like for me, I can only speak about me, and I could speak on, like, you know, my dad's side of the family, my mom's side of the family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like for me, when I'm out there, I think it really has to do with all of that. You know, it really does. That's what my real life is all about. And then it was mentioned earlier about, you know, like studying, you know, was it Catholicism and that sort of stuff? I used to highly study geoeconomics and the geopolitical spectrum. Like that was my hobby, and I was very vested into that. After my experience, man, I haven't done that since this all stared.
None of it matters anymore. None of it. All that stuff, all those are thousands and thousands of hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos and interviews of people of different topics, of geopolitics, theology, the Vatican, et cetera, et cetera. None of it matters. None of it matters. The only thing that matters at this point is this stuff, because this stuff in the end is something that I know is absolutely 100% real.
Thank you, Jan, for the gift.
Oh yeah, I think that they're preparing us for something greater. You know, I really think that that's kind of my take on it, and I believe that eventually there's going to be a disclosure. However, or whatever you think, however you think that's going to happen, right? I don't even know. I can feel it. I know that there is going to be disclosure.
Yeah, I think it's not even going to be anything about the government either. I think it's going to be just like the past. You know, like when somebody finds a new animal or creature, right? It puts it in the biology books, and they do research and all that. There's no need for the government to approve that or not. I think it's going to be that kind of approach. We're going to figure this out on our own. We're not going to need to have anybody of any quote unquote authority position. We're going to be able to just figure it out ourselves. We're going to prove it to each other, and it's going to build on and on. And it's going to be just as real as the air, just as real as the trees around us, just as real as the rocks, just as real if everything else is going to be part of our reality again. That's what's going to happen, and we won't need anybody else to do it.
The disclosure I'm talking about is going to come from people like you guys and from me. That's where it's coming from.
That's why I say it's happening right now, right? It's literally happening right now.
It's already happening.
It's happening right now, and it's just going to grow. It's just going to grow, and more people are going to come to this realization. And then my hope,
the minds are being opened.
The spiritual realm is that we're going to start treating the trees better and our environment and each other better, because they benefit from themselves. When we're more in tune with this creation, they themselves benefit from it. And so, I think that's our job. All the four of us and many others is simply to plant the seed of truth, and have people themselves go out and have their own experiences, their own encounters, so they know for
that's going to sound really funny on the download, because you won't see the comments.
So it's already there, right? It's already there. There's enough proof there. There's enough everything there. It's just not getting to the mainstream people. So that's what's being controlled. Is mainstream media. Mainstream media, where people get their information. So if every time a Bigfoot sighting makes it on the news, they show the shittiest one and the most, you know, craziest looking person in a mobile home with, you know, with a country accent, and then the newscasters crack on them. And then if you search on YouTube and all you find is Animal Planet and those newscast videos and whatever and blah, 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 right? That's all you're going to find if you search Bigfoot without knowing about where to go to look for Bigfoot with people like us. So for now, it's being controlled. The Sasquatch are going to do their own thing. They're going to come out when they're ready to come out. They're going to show their face when they're ready to show their face. When that time or when that grand disclosure comes, just will be the people that people go to, because they'll be like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of people that jump on that bandwagon and start trying to, oh, look at this, and then they, you know, everyone's going to be, oh, it's going to be this, and
we are,
but
we're both
be
the catalyst
people.
and the spearhead. We're both the catalyst and the spearhead of the disclosure. You know,
I don't put out as many videos as I do for fun. Like I'm building a video diary of what I've done. Like it's there.
That's awesome.
It's there. You can't take it away. You know what I mean? It's sitting there. There's like 1,600 videos. You know. That's you could watch a video a day for like 3 years.
What's happening at the same time? Everything publicly displayed to mass audiences controlled. For sure, Ember. Yeah, man.
Well, guys, I'm gonna go get out here in these woods.
Are you going live, or what are you doing? Are you making a vid, or?
I'll probably I might go live, depending if I have service. I think everyone kind of enjoyed it lately, so I might just try to do a stream out here.
Well, if you do,
man, I'm so jealous of that. I am so jealous of the people that can go live at their research locations. All the places I go, I mean, shit, there's no fucking signal. You know, the only way I could think of troubleshooting that and getting around that is by getting satellite internet. That's the only way I think I'm going to be able to get around that.
I only started being able to do it again because I got a brand new phone, and now it seems to work. It wouldn't work with my old phone, and that was a good phone. But this brand new fucking top of the line phone, JT knows what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I got the same one.
It says 6 sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't say 5G. Sometimes it shows a 6. Keep an eye on that, bro. It's bugged out. Sometimes it shows a 6. There's no such thing as 6G, right? Sometimes it shows a 6.
No, as far as I know.
Well, I would argue
that's pretty cool.
I think there actually is. I think there's more than 6G. I just think they revealed to us. They just revealed to us the 5G, but they haven't got to the point of revealing public the 6G and the 7G. They're working on that. You know what I mean?
I'm sitting here laughing because like 5G just came in up here in Canada.
I mean, for me though, like that's one of my desires is to be able to go live because.
Well, where are you? What state are you in?
So I'm in Washington State. I go to up towards
right close to me.
Yeah, I go up to like the lower Olympics, to the Cascades, Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, and then there's a couple locations that are kind of close by to where I live that have super easy access, but they still have no signal. Every place that I've gone has no signal, so I can't do it unless I get that satellite internet.
Yeah, or a mobile hotspot maybe.
No, I've tried the mobile hotspot and that doesn't work. It's just there's no signal.
Yeah.
You know? Especially when I'm like down in a valley somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Fine. All right, well, I'm going to run, guys. I'm going to go see if this works, and maybe I'll see you there.
Cool, man.
All right, man. Have fun.
All right. Always.
Don't be a stranger, and don't forget to invite us on your show and have the conversation, man.
All right. Don't harass me, though. No, seriously.
You know how terrible the Ohio boys are. You know.
You gotta keep on me because I'll forget. I'll forget. You know how many people I have lined up that I just like. The popo is out. All right, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys soon.
See you, brother.
Good luck.
All right, man. Take care.
Hang me up.
Brother.
I can't tell you guys how much I really dislike the popo. Oh man, yeah. Don't get me started on that whole thing. But yeah, I have all kinds of really cool stuff. Like I could share a story about when my brother was pushed. That's one of my favorite ones to share. So
Let's hear it.
we had been at our main research location for about 4 months. And I was going up there with my brother Todd and my brother Bear. And then I also had like my brother Joe, my nephew Aaron, but they didn't go up there all the time. But Bear and Todd consistently were part of my research team. And when we went up there, I told everybody, I said, look, no weapons, no weapons, right? I want us to be as vulnerable as possible. That way they can see that we don't have ill intent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a thing for about 4 months. But after 4 months, both Todd and Bear, they had some stuff that happened. They said it was just like a feeling, like an energy thing. And they both started packing, right? And it was almost a year ago. It will be a year ago in early May. Early May will be a year from now from when this happened. And so it was a day like today in Washington where it's raining, right? And we get together, we're going up for a day hike. We're going to go up to the research location and we get in Bear's vehicle and we're driving up there. Well, while I'm driving up there, I don't have like telepathic communication with Sasquatch. However, I'll get a feeling like that gut feeling I was talking about, and that gut feeling will turn into a thought. Okay. And that thought, I can tell it's not from me. It's not, I could tell that it's not coming from me.
It just comes out of nowhere. I get the same thing, the same kind of stuff, Eric, for sure.
And on the way up there, all of a sudden there's this thought that it's going to be blue skies, clear and blue skies. Right. And so I tell Todd and Bear, I'm like, hey guys, we're going to have blue skies when we get up there. And they both laughed at me. They're like, no, it's fucking raining, dude. It's like dumping down rain. We're not going to have blue skies. So we get up there, and sure enough, as we're pulling into the research location, the clouds part and there's blue skies and sun, right? And so we get out of the vehicle, and I'm busily trying to gather up all my gifting supplies, my hiking supplies, my backpack, all the stuff that I brought with me. And my brother Todd's like, Eric, stop. I was like, what? He's all, stop, look. And he points, and there's a wood structure 2 feet that had been built from at our base camp from our fire pit, right? And it wasn't like anything super impressive, like you'll go and see like a TP structure, or you'll see different kinds of X patterns and triangles and the things that they make. It wasn't anything like that. It was basically a stump that we were gonna burn, but it had 2 giant tree branches that were straight, that were perfectly balancing on it. And they're balancing through the wind and the rain, right? It wasn't wind and rain there. It was clear skies. But before we got there, it was wind and rain. And I was like, wow. So I took a picture of it. And then I realized, I was like, okay, I'm not going to take any videos or pictures this time. So I did my whole, cleansing of the energy. We smudged, we burnt sage. I said a prayer. And then while I'm doing that, we start getting whistling from the left side of the path. And the whistle is, the only way I can describe it, it sounded human. There's different kinds of whistles, how you can make a whistle by making an O shape with your mouth. It sounded like that, like, and I can't whistle very well, right? But it sounded like that. And then that whistle happened. And then it happened again on the left side of the road. And then it was answered by a whistle on the right side of the road that sounded more feministic, right? And the whistling went back and forth like they were whistling to each other. And that whistling led us a 1/4 mile to a 1/2 mile back to where my gifting stump was, like all the way. It was in front of us. They were leading us back to where I was going to gift. I'd gift like 16 to 24 apples at a time, because I know that there's a large family up there. And I'm doing it because not even necessarily for the adults. I'm a teacher of little children. This is for their kids. This is where my heart is. This is how I share my heart with them. It's like, this is for your babies, right? Which I have pictures of moms breastfeeding other offspring and that kind of stuff. But that's a whole nother story. So we're walking back there, and on the way back there, they revealed themselves to me not once but twice. You know, and the ones that were doing it, they had a reddish brown hair, you know.
Yep.
And so I'm walking about 200 yards in front of Todd and Bear, right? I told them, I said, I want you guys to hang back. And so every time they would catch up, right? Every time that they would catch up, the Sasquatch, they would either cloak or they would go out of sight, right? But they ended up seeing, like my brother Todd saw the head and the shoulder and the arm of one. Meanwhile, I'm seeing like the full on figure, right? And so we go back to the gifting stump, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying something new. So I'm like meditating. I'm literally like hugging trees and that kind of stuff. I'm trying to show them where my heart is, right? And I sit down at the gifting stump.
They know, bro. They freaking know.
I did this whole speech. Yeah, I did this whole speech about how these apples are for your littles, and I appreciate you guys letting us be here. But there was something that happened that wasn't good that day. So the first time at the gifting stump, we walked down to where this creek was, which was about 100 feet away from the stump. And the second time when we went back, right, they had taken 3 saplings and laid them over the trail, as in saying, what I got was don't go beyond this point. Now, this is 4 months later, and we're there, and our purpose of being up there wasn't, I was just going to go to the gifting site just to get the apples, and we were going to leave, right? And because Bear, you know, a funny story, Bear, he got the previous time we were up there, he got lost. He didn't know how to get to it. And so I had to go rescue him. And then he said, oh, the place that I found was really neat. We need to go check that area out. But instead of us leaving and going in and checking that area out, I look across the creek, and Todd and Bear had crossed the barrier and were on the other side of the creek. And so the first thing that popped in my head was like, this isn't good. Here I am having this beautiful experience, and these guys are breaking the rules, and I know these are the rules. Like, they don't want us over there. But I was like, okay, I'm going to go with them. So I went and I crossed the creek, and we hiked 2 miles down to a bigger creek. But on the way down there, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a grove of trees with the vegetation after a good rain, where the sunlight's just glistening off of everything, and everything is sparkling. The atmosphere in the area, it just felt like home, right? It just felt beautiful. It felt like home. And then on the way down there, I'm finding all these huge footprints, and the footprints I've been finding there, they range from 12 to 13 inches all the way up. The biggest one I have recorded is 28 inches. Okay. So I'm finding the ones I'm finding after the creek were about 20 to 22 inches big. Right. And so we're hiking down this 2 miles down to this other creek, and you could see them cloaked like this purple haze, like in front of a bush, and you could tell where they are, but they weren't showing themselves like they were before we crossed the creek. So we got to the creek, we hiked all the way down the creek. It came out to a culvert that was at another part of my research location. So a total of 2 miles in, 2 miles down, and then about 2.5 miles back up, almost like in a triangle, back up to where the base camp was, right? And it was just that time they gave me a rock that has kind of like what you got, buddy. You know, how you could tell that it was meant for you. It has things that had been carved into it that are just, it's just beautiful. It's like, oh man, this is a treasure, right? And I really loved it. Well, the next week when we came back, right, it was me, Bear, and Todd again, right? And remember how I said that they were now packing, and we had crossed that path? Well, we had just started in. We weren't even like 150 yards into the path going back to the gifting site, right? We had just started in, and I was in the middle, Bear was leading, and all of a sudden I heard this thud behind me. And I turned around, and my brother Todd is rolling in pain on the ground, right? And I was like, well, my first initial thought is like he slipped, you know, he fell or something like that, right? And as I'm walking up to him, I hear laughing just like that coming from the woods. I look, and there's nothing there, and my brain's like, that wasn't real. That wasn't real. You didn't hear that, right? That's like my first response with all this stuff is like, that's not real. And so I walk over there, Bear and I was like, and Todd, he's like making no noise, just kind of rolling in pain. And he did that for like a good 30, 40 seconds. And then as we both put our hands down to help him up, and we're helping him up, we heard laughing louder, and all three of our heads snapped in the same direction. And there was nothing there. And so I asked Todd, I said, what happened? Did you slip? Did you fall? Tell me what happened. And he was like, he's all, no. I didn't feel like I slipped. It didn't, and he's all, I don't know, maybe I was pushed. He said, but it didn't feel like I was pushed either. He said, all of a sudden I was flying through the air and I did a full frontal flip. I was like, what? And so I took a tape measure another time we were out there, and I measured the distance. He flew 12 feet. He in the air, 12 feet in the air from where he landed. And then that was actually the beginning of the end of my research group, because after that had happened, Todd and Bear were scared. They were terrified. They were terrified. I didn't feel any of that. I did not feel terrified whatsoever, right? And so if you fast forward another month, the last time my brother Todd went out there, he was at my truck, and they had both been telling me for about a month that there's a negative energy, that there's something bad that's out there, that there's a, because like I said, my family is sensitive to the paranormal. So they're like, there's something negative out there. There's something bad out there. And I was like, okay, well, I don't feel that. And it went from me calling them my friends, and they would say, yeah, our friends. And now what changed was they were saying your friends, your friends, your friends, right? Mm-hmm. And so Bear wasn't with us this time, and Todd was by my truck. And as I'm walking back there's this secondary fire pit that looks like somebody used one time a long time ago. And I was going to just give some apples there. It's about 200 yards from where I park out of the base camp. And as I'm walking back there, I could feel the presence of something to my right and behind me. And then I could feel the presence of something off to the left-hand side. And I'm walking there, and I keep stopping and looking back, because it's like this heavy weight that's on your chest. Your ears start to ring. They feel like they're going to pop, but they don't pop, right? And I'm feeling this, and I'm looking back, and I'm not seeing anything. And the whole time that this is happening, my brother Todd is yelling my name, and I don't hear him. I could hear somebody yelling my name from 100 yards away. You could hear somebody yelling your name from 100 yards away, right? I'm not hearing him. So what happened was, as he tried to move towards me, he did not share this with me until 2 months after it had happened. Okay, so 2 months, I didn't even know anything about this until 2 months after this had happened. All that I knew is he said, I'm never going out to that place again. Right? And his behavior changed. Yeah, his behavior changed. Like, he was staying with me at my home before. He now lives in Utah, but he was staying with me at my home. And when he would go out to have a cigarette, now he has two bright lights shining towards the back part of my property. His dog ended up having her hide ripped. There was a bunch of stuff that happened. But that day, what he had told me was, whenever he tried to move towards me, he felt what he described as two giant hands holding him down by his shoulders. And every time he tried to move towards me, he felt that pressure pushing down. But when he would turn back, it would go away. They were keeping him by my truck, right? And so I get out to the spot, and I get this feeling like, don't go any further, right? It was kind of one of my negative experiences, like, don't go any further. I was like, okay, I listened to it. I laid out the apples. I said, who knows what I said? It's always about the same thing. These are here for you.
Ember,
I come in here and love.
Comment here. She says, sorry, but she just said, I just want to say, she goes, maybe they don't connect to source and you do. Bigfoot must sense something not Bigfoot friendly about them. I mean.
Yeah, I agree. That's a very valid point. I think that is 100% accurate. But as I'm walking out there, like I said, I'm feeling them to the right and behind me, and then off to the left. After I laid the apples down, I heard a loud crack to the right and behind me, and I turned to look. But when I turned back to the my body and my head turns to the right to look, And when I turned back to face forward again, I had a milky white substance, which I believe is part of their cloaking capabilities. It came right up to me, a foot away from me, and it was fast. It zoomed right by me. I was like, okay.
Mhm.
And so I ended up going back, and I said, I didn't go very far, bro. I just put the apples there. I said my thing, and he's like, okay, let's go. And so we left, but that was the end of my research team. And since then, I've been trying to reestablish and rebuild a research team because one of my philosophies is I never go alone. I don't go by myself. That's one of my rules is I don't go alone.
Safe for sure. Especially when
But
there's
yeah,
cougars
that's
and
the
shit up
story
there.
of how my research team kind of fell apart. And that's the story of how we stopped having such regular interactions with them with the family of Sasquatch. And like I said before, but I estimate it's between 2 to 3 dozen at that one spot. And then a lot of the stuff went quiet. It wasn't as productive the following times that I've gone out there, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, it's crazy because we found this spot just recently the other week ago, and it was like we're walking up a mountain road that's gated, right? It's up in the probably I don't know 15 kilometers up the one mountain road. And then we walked about 3 or 4 kilometers from a gate up another mountain road, and we came to this section where a tree had been knocked down, right, or pushed over. It wasn't broken, but it had been pushed over, and it looked like a bunch of stuff had been created there. I seen a pathway coming out and crossing the road, but right up above that, there was another entrance into the forest that went to a little like total pathway down into this little area that was they call it a funnel. My brother here is sitting here. And there was like a giant wall built and another wall, and then on the backside there was like a huge entrance into the forest, like an exit. And it looked like a
Oh,
freaking
cool.
elephant that just ran off into the bush from there. And like
Wow.
to me it just shows me that there was literally and right at the beginning of the funnel, there was a huge tree bend, and there's a tree break broken, pinning that down. And I believe it's like an area where obviously there's a family that comes in there. I think they just wait and they send people up to watch to look if it's safe to cross the road, right? Because right across the road is where that tree was just pushed over and created like this huge
Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
So what you're describing, does it seem like it was like a blind, like they had built cover for
Yes,
themselves?
100%.
Or I thought it was more like a trap.
But some people, my brother, yeah.
Where like if you were to be chasing something down, it would have got like confused and then stopped at the end. And like at the end, it was more like a walled in area, like a room where they would do the kill.
Oh yeah, like a kill zone, like almost like they funnel it down to a kill zone, and then that's where it happens.
You know, that's what they might think that. I don't personally think that one, but it's on video. You can I can show you guys. I think I might have made a short of it on YouTube. If I don't, I'll make one on TikTok and send it to you guys to show you the area. It was really cool, man. Really cool. Like we've been finding a lot of really interesting areas here, just close, right close to us, pretty much in our backyard, in an area we had not really gone too often. So it's like we're connecting to another tribe or another, Sasquatch family or group because I'm connected to these guys out in Harrison, but is it them? Is it this? Could it be the same? I don't know. It didn't feel the same, but it definitely felt like the energy was there for sure. 100% they were there. And I do know a guy that goes up there and researches, and he's connected to a family up there as well. So very cool though, man.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love finding stuff like that. I find blinds all the time. You know, they like to put them like on corners with like big ditches and that kind of stuff where I go. So you'll have like, I don't know, 7 or 8 small either branches or saplings that are all put in a line that create kind of a barrier, a visual barrier, you know?
I might be able to show
And
you
so
guys.
I find stuff like that all the time.
I'm gonna
And
ORD.
all the
You guys.
branches are like in the same direction. You could tell it wasn't like wind that created it.
Jump in the combo here, ORD. I'm gonna find this video and show you guys this right now on the live. Or just give me a moment if he doesn't jump in. I'm gonna show you.
Eric, when would be a good day to do a show next week?
Well, I see. I just got a new position for where I teach at for the tribe, and I got to go in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are going to be pretty busy. Thursday and Friday would be probably more likely to be better days for me.
We want to try it Thursday or Friday evening at 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's
Eastern.
fine.
That would be 9 p.m. Eastern. Would be 6 your time, right?
Yeah, I get off work at usually 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'll be home by that time. It'd be perfect. It will work out great.
Well, which day, Friday or Thursday would be best for you?
Probably let's do a Friday night. That might make for a good show. A Friday night, there might be more people, listening. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to this TikTok thing or like videos and stuff. I'm just an experiencer.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah. You can find me, Eric James, ERICH JAMES. Yeah, throw me a Facebook ad. That'd be fine.
So it's Eric, ER.
Eric James.
Just like what it is on here?
Yeah, just like what it is on here.
Is it 77?
No 77. That's just what TikTok said. I need to use something other than my name.
Okay, this is the video here where we just check this out, guys. If you don't mind watching this for a moment, a couple minutes, we'll show you the blind I'm talking about. That was a trail that I see.
People hear Sasquatch out here all the time.
This is where that tree break is across the road, where I seen there's a trail coming out from right out of there.
This place has been hit hard.
I was just saying that, talking about that, but
No way.
he says natural. I say no. The Sasquatch pushed the tree over.
Did it?
But check this stuff out, man. It's insane.
How do you explain the trail on the other side of the road?
Check this shit.
Think about that. Yeah. Where's Jim? This is the forest. The type of forest where the interdimensionals came right out of the tree on that video, man. Look at these trees here.
Check this tree breakout. A minute for this bend. It's crazy.
This is interesting.
There's a lot of Eric James out there. How do you know which Eric James it is on Facebook?
Maybe I'm not sure what my profile picture is.
Sure.
You haven't even looked at your phone.
There's 2 people. Is that it?
Check this out. This is the tree break, or the tree bend under the tree break at the top of the tunnel.
Oh, wow.
Literally.
I go right up and show you.
The tree is bent right underneath the tree break. That's fucking nuts.
It's like holding it there. Yeah.
James.
It's under pressure too.
That's something for
It's pinned by another tree.
Dude, we seen that yesterday, but
That's really cool.
Yeah.
middle of a big open
Yeah.
area.
We seen the exact same thing in a little grove yesterday, about 20 feet up in the air,
with absolutely no trees around that could have fallen or holding it down or anything.
in Tree Break Alley, and that's the video
I
that
have
premieres tonight.
98%.
I have some photos of a tree like that, a full tree that's been bent in an arch up in Little Natchez, Washington.
Cool.
Cool. That's
That's my buddy Eric from TikTok.
Oh.
It's my bro.
Guys, I got to take a different video of this for a short. I'll be right back.
I had to make a short for YouTube. Now this goes down into this little trail here, right? It funnels down into the bush.
Oh, yeah. I see this as soon as we came in.
And you'll see the walls and the blind is absolutely insane. And the path out, it's like, it's crazy.
It's a Sasquatch 100%, dude.
100%. We should be saying 98, right? Start saying that.
That's my thing. 100%. A lot of have at least 2% skepticism. Here's my freaking house.
All right. Here's my freaking house.
Nature does do this shit.
Yeah, but we know what's up.
I got a question real fast for Eric. Eric, is it you got a picture of like you and your gal? She's in behind you, and then there's like football stadium.
Yeah, it was that picture was taken on Lanikai Beach in Hawaii. It's one of my favorite photos.
All right, I'm adding you as a friend right now. It's a request. So when you're done with all this, check that out, and we'll go from there. Okay, we'll contact with each other. Go through
Yes.
We have three mutual friends.
I accepted the friend request. I said we have David Hollis as a common friend.
Yes, David's been on my show.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
Mark,
David, he captures a lot of really good stuff too.
And you got Dr. Johnson. Oh yeah,
yep, and Dr. J
on the show.
What's that?
I said, like I said, Eric's he's been on my live show. That was quite a feat. We had to do it. It was quite a feat, but we made it done, man. He's out there in the boonies down there, so he has no computer. He just has a cell phone and all that. Rachel Jones is that?
That's Ember.
Okay, I've just accepted your request. And gentlemen, I'm probably going to bail off as well because I have my son this weekend and we're going to go do some stuff. It was great getting a chance to meet you finally, Eric. Mike, if you're listening.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you too.
Yeah, we're going to end this after I show this structure. I'm going to end it as well because I've been on for way too many hours this morning. So, Lord.
This is a great show, and I hope you have you record this and put it on your Facebook or your on YouTube because. I mean, it's a rare opportunity when 4 researchers from 4 different areas share.
Yeah, I would love that too, man. That would be something that I would share around as well. Although one of the things I'm a little bit shy about sharing my stuff on Facebook. I'm still kind of in the closet.
Yeah, no, I'll do
Yeah, that's awesome.
As far as me and you, Eric, as far as communication, just be through Messenger. If there's any images that you would like to share during the show, make sure to post them on Messenger in an order, and so that we can talk about. Yeah. We don't have to use any of your images. It doesn't matter. It's up to you.
It's fine.
We a lot of times in my show, we the fellow researchers they share their images and we go over it. Talk about it, discuss it. You know what I mean? See what they see.
We know where it goes.
Yeah, to date, I have about 12,000 photos and hundreds of hours of video. So I have plenty of stuff to share.
Oh, I believe it. I've seen some of your stuff. You got some fantastic images, especially some of them peeping out of the trees there. There's some great looking faces. Really profound and solid evidence that we're dealing with something. It's real.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm really this turns out if this and this is what synchronicity. This is how I see the spirit realm works. I wasn't really planning on
Look at
doing
this stuff.
anything on TikTok. I saw my buddy Jared, and I got on there. Next thing you know, Mike's on there, and then you're on there. So awesome. That's how the
How you
synchronicity
doing?
works in my book. Never
It's
would have.
coming together and it's happening for a reason. That's my heart. That's
Freaking right,
my
man.
thoughts.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
we need
Check
to
this
get
area out.
reconnected with reality. We do. We all do. Or at least those who so desire
Yeah.
and those who be moved. We need to get
Check this
reconnected
out
with the
right here.
reality.
This is the big blind in the.
A clan could be coming in here at nighttime. You never know. The trail looked like something came through.
Oh wow.
Not that. That is a section where they go out. They go out through there.
Sasquatch. 100%. So it's weird.
I show more here. Just give me a sec here. Again, I actually show.
Respectful.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like they come out this way out of the forest, so they have this back wall here. They exit out that way. It literally looks like an elephant ran through the forest.
Oh, that's badass. I like it.
And then behind me, which I show you in a minute, is where there's like a room and like a giant wall, and a couple of them have been built like blinds.
Now, when you say
That's the
about these
exit right
blinds,
there.
hey, Jared, so when you say is it blind, do they create a formation of a circle like we talked before about maybe like a bed or a
See?
nest?
If you can see, this whole section here is a blind right there. They're standing where the Sasquatch would be chilling and waiting for the sentinels that come back and tell them that it's a safe passage across the road where those other tree breaks were.
Now,
Check it out.
Did you notice that those blinds formed a circle?
They not a full circle, but basically there's like a big half circle and then like another section of a wall. So it's like they're trying to, right? James walked out there to where the exit trail went. Like that's where it looks like an elephant had just ran through the forest out that way. So they come in from the deep forest, they sit there at the blind, and they have two of them or whatever, one that goes up, make sure it's safe, right? And then they bring the family across the road or whatever they do, right? That's my theory on what's going on in this video.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to jump off. It was really cool. Thank you for sharing that video.
Yeah.
Jared, keep up the good
Thank you
work.
for coming on, Warden.
Eric, you keep up
brother.
the good work as well. And I hopefully everything lines up right. We'll be talking Friday. And I think we're going to have, from my impression, we're going to have one heck of an informative conversation. So,
yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Jared, thank you. Thank you for introducing me to Eric.
No problem, man. That's what I do.
We'll guys talk to you later, man. Be with my son.
Later, already.
Have a good one, man.
Now check this out. We're inside the area now. I show you the walls of the structure.
I know. I was looking at this.
Oh man, that's good. That's good stuff right there.
They already have ones waiting.
Yeah,
They're
dude.
literally watching us right now.
100% they're watching us, you know?
Respect. But, yes. Everything's up to date. You gotta walk around.
They trap you in there. See, there's like little walls being built here. They literally go all around, man. That's like the huge blind. And that direction is where the road would be, probably about 100 yards out. And the trail goes all the way up to the fucking, to where the road would be, right?
Yeah,
Very cool.
that's a great capture, man. That's a good video.
It's totally feeling that vibe.
Yeah, man. So cool, eh? And this is an area where we'll be frequently going. It's actually one of the closer spots to our house. Crazy that we just randomly found this one. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna end her too, guys, because I've been on for like freaking 5 or something hours today.
All right, buddy.
Eric,
Well, I
thank you for
appreciate
coming
you
on,
giving me the
brother.
opportunity to be on. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was great conversation. Absolutely awesome.
I love it. I love it too, man. It's awesome. Yeah, whenever you're on, man, if you come in the room, I'll hit the invite because I love chatting with you as well. It's a great combos.
Cool. Appreciate that, buddy. I really do.
All
Have
right,
a
man.
good
Well,
one,
take care.
and I will talk to you later. Okay.
All right, brother.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Cool, man. That was fun. See you later, JT. That's not natural. No, it's not, Paul. It's 100% Sasquatch area, I would say. I should say 98, but no, you know what? It's 100%. Thank you all for coming in and enjoying the live. If you haven't, follow us on YouTube. We have a premiere tonight of an amazing area, man. Tree Break Alley. You guys will see some amazing stuff. 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on my YouTube channel. That's Sasquatch.Confessions on YouTube. I'd appreciate any and all support over there. All right, guys. Have a great day. Squatch out, man.